Danger, danger. The podcast you're about to listen to may contain spoilers, bad language, offensive themes, and material that is inappropriate for people under the age of 18. However, the podcast will definitely contain bad opinions. You have been warned. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Anime Abroad podcast. Back again. I still can't believe it.
Yeah,
they haven't come for us yet, so we're just going to keep sending this out until someone stops us. Okay, host stuff. What do I do now? I introduce people. So this week I'm joined by Jared, Jonas,
Hello.
and Kyle.
hello.
Hello, everyone.
Sorry,
I'm
I
listening
forgot.
to good music right now.
I'm supposed to wait.
Very good music.
It's fine. If we did our intros right, we wouldn't be doing our intros, let's be honest. I am your host, Tom, and we're going to talk about anime this week.
Yeah.
Finally.
Surprisingly enough.
Pause for applause.
I like anime.
Anime's okay.
Yeah,
Some would say some
Sometimes.
people say it's a mistake. But
Yeah.
I think sometimes we need to make mistakes to learn, and that's what anime is. Anime is humanity's
Slowly
mistake,
learning.
which will teach us the true way to God. Okay. Right, let's have a look. So yeah, let's hop straight on to question of the week. And this question is slightly inspired by the Danganronpa 3 anime. What Japanese property? So it could be anything: book, video game, movie. I'm going to say let's not go with light novels or manga
What
here.
about
Just
cars?
keep the theme. Cars, yeah, sure, why not?
Nice.
Would you like to see get a anime? I wouldn't even necessarily say
There's already one for
adaptation.
Subaru.
Yeah, there's several actually. There's been a ton of characters called Subaru lately. So an adaptation or a direct sequel. I'm going to start us off so you guys know what kind of playing field we're on. I would fucking love to see a Dark Souls anime.
Oh,
I think that would be
Ooh.
super
I thought
cool.
we were just doing Japanese
Would that
properties.
work?
Absolutely.
I've-
That's honestly, it's not so far off Berserk.
I've not really played Dark Souls, so does Dark Souls have much of a story or anything?
Dark Souls has a really, really strong theme. And
Alright.
while it doesn't necessarily... It does actually have a lot of... It doesn't have as much of a story as it has a lore.
Mm-hmm.
The world exists, and you can... The way you work out the story in Dark Souls is the game kind of asks you to be almost like an archaeologist. That's the word I've heard people describe it as, and I love it.
Oh, okay.
Where you have to go and you have to find evidence,
Alright.
like whether that's a ring that has a description or something like this, and you piece together the stories, these fragments of story together, and try and work out what happened. How did the world get like this? Who was that boss? Why is he there? Who am I? What is my motivation? So that world is actually really established,
Okay.
and the events and characters in that world,
Do
you can
you-
go deep on lore and fill it out.
Do you think that would work as an anime? Because I don't think it would.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
not so sure.
Dark Souls would be an anime that would...
I really, really want to play Dark Souls. Dark Souls sounds
Maybe a
incredible.
movie.
Thematically, I think it would make a better movie than the TV
I feel like
series,
if
for
they
sure.
were
Even-
to adapt
not
it
even
into
a
an
movie.
anime, they would have to reinsert a protagonist.
Yes,
that as well.
they would need to twist. It would be an anime set in the Dark Souls universe. It wouldn't necessarily be a Dark Souls. It wouldn't be the Dark Souls of anime. Let's put it that way. Because I didn't even know what the Dark Souls of anime is. Is that?
I don't know. I have no idea what the Dark Souls of anime is.
There's a lot of them.
Boku no Pico.
Deep themes.
It's so hard to get through Boku no Pico. That is why it's Dark Souls. The Dark Souls of anime.
Very rewarding at the end. For all kinds of viewers.
No, I think the big problem with Dark Souls is that is a world that is so devoid of anything positive that it would be hard to make an engaging story surrounding a cast of characters that isn't just absolutely miserable. Or else, if it wasn't that, it wouldn't really be Dark Souls.
Let me ask you a question. If we made a Dark Souls anime and we would do it the way you said it, would it be Dark Souls? Would it feel like Dark Souls?
Well, I mean, to me, Dark Souls is like medieval gothic horror with overwhelming, an overwhelming sense of like futility and despair, for lack of a better word.
Okay, because from what I've gathered about the game, as I said, I've never played it. I want to play it, but my PC is too crap for it. It sounds like a game that gets, like, in terms of its story, as you said, it's like this some kind of archaeologist thing.
You would not be able to adapt one of the Dark Souls games into an anime. That would not work.
My question is,
you would have to create an original story within that universe.
My question is just like, would that anime feel like Dark Souls? And if not, it could definitely feel like it fits into that world. All right, okay.
Like I say, you're not going to be able to make the Dark Souls of anime, but you could make a Dark Souls anime. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Like I say, I think the closest we've got to this is Berserk in a way. Especially the later stuff in the manga after the Eclipse arc. That actually Berserk is a massive inspiration for Dark Souls. The lead developer has said it quite often, and it shows a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why they couldn't make a Dark Souls anime that feels like it's they could make a Dark Souls anime that feels like it's part of the Dark Souls universe. I just don't know if they could make that a pleasant experience. It would. I mean, if anything, it could deeply challenge its viewers. Though.
I mean, shout out to Akunohana for not being exactly a pleasuring experience, but for being absolutely fantastic.
It would be something along those lines. It would be. It would be a. Yeah, it would challenge its viewers.
I think
if it was to stay true to Dark Souls. I
think if there was a Dark Souls anime announced, I probably wouldn't be very confident going into it. But if it does well, if it did it well, I think it could be fantastic.
I think I'd want to see the team behind Shingeki no Bahamut do an adaptation of it.
I think Shingeki no Bahamut is a very different show.
Well, no,
Sure, I mean, are you talking visually?
They can delve into dark topics quite well.
I feel like Shingeki no Bahamut is like, in terms of like how it deals with its dark topics, seems to be entirely different to how Dark Souls does it. Because like this whole futility and despair thing isn't really.
I'm not saying they do it
it
like Shingeki no Bahamut. I'm saying just that team.
That team's proven itself.
Like they've proven they can handle like the dark and gothic themes quite well.
Do you mean just visually?
Like
visually.
Okay. Last thing, I just want to say, I think the guy who made all of TQ should make the Dark Souls anime.
Usaka.
He'll become a master at it one day.
One day.
Full on CGI Dark Souls anime when.
Oh man. Okay, we spent like 10 minutes talking about my pick. Holy shit. Jared, you've had plenty of time to think of something.
I've been listening. Does anybody else have one?
I have one, yeah, I think.
Okay, you can go there.
I'm gonna tie directly into a topic later on. The Rikokoko anime novel. It's a spin-off novel to UFO. I want an anime of it.
Okay.
Well, way to think outside the box, Jonas.
I'm sorry. Otherwise,
I was expecting you to say Goose House anime.
Nah.
They're in the big blue house.
I don't know.
That's not Japanese.
I mean, the one anime I want that isn't Japanese, like the one anime. Can I say this, even if it's not Japanese property?
I mean, you
Why
can
not?
you can try.
I want an esports anime, a proper esports anime.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for ages. I
Esports.
want one so
Cool.
badly.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I mean, it
shame,
would happen.
shame Japanese people don't really get on with Koreans and Chinese people.
I know.
Where esports happens, so that's
Like,
a shame,
esports
but-
anime is very, very unlikely to happen, but I want it to be.
I mean,
a thing.
I don't know. I honestly don't understand why Korea doesn't make anime. I mean, they do
do.
I mean,
already.
They
Yeah,
do, yeah.
but-
Exactly. So why don't they? I mean, Korea's got webtoons that are very popular.
I mean, the thing
in-
is, they have an animation. They have a huge animation market, but that animation market is usually used for outsourcing from America.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I
there's no
I
market
think-
in Korea for creating cartoons. They only animate. The market for actually creating them is in
yeah,
America.
maybe, but I could definitely see a small market emerge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially with the rise of the popularity of Japanese Korean webtoons, like those things are quite popular.
Well, I mean,
so,
Japan has already made an adaptation of a Korean webtoon.
yeah, of Noblesse.
Noblesse.
Freezing as well. I want to say was a Korean manga.
I'm not sure.
I think one of the writers on Freezing is Korean.
Was
It's
it?
something
I
along
thought-
those lines for sure.
Pretty sure that was just a regular manga.
I mean, there's a lot of Korean animators that work in anime. There's also like,
Sure.
I think a bit.
I would
I
not
think
be
a good
surprised
chunk
if
of
we
other
see
ramen
something
was
like
actually
that.
outsourced to Korea.
Well, like all of it.
But all of it, I'm not sure.
Okay.
At the very least, a good chunk of it.
Yeah, here we go. Freezing is a Japanese manga written by Korean manhwa author Dal Young Lim.
Okay,
Okay.
that's interesting.
Yeah. So I like I say, I don't know. It just wouldn't surprise me if Korea tries their hand at it. So I mean, maybe that would be a topic that a Korean anime would focus on. Actually,
I would love it, but I'm not sure if it would. Like, it'd certainly not be the first one to do. It'd not be the first thing they do, because esports may seem
no, it wouldn't be.
big
It
there,
it wouldn't be the first thing they do. They would adapt something like
Tower
one
of
of their
God.
big I mean something like Tower
Sunken
of God
Rock.
or
Yeah.
I think what probably would
The
happen
Gamer
at first
or
is maybe
Noblesse
something
or-
along the lines of like Korean dramas in animated form. Because
Yeah.
like, considering how popular
Possibly,
Korean dramas
yeah.
are there, I think
Yeah,
there's
possibly.
a good chance that is the first thing to happen.
Okay, so you want a Jin Air anime? That's what you're
Yes,
saying.
I want a Jin anime. Please adapt my Mara
Cal-
into animation.
Cal, do you have an answer?
I want my life turned into an anime, please.
Your life isn't Japanese, mate. Actually, maybe it is.
Yeah, don't even. Yeah, I want my
Maybe-
figures.
yeah, it kind of is.
I want all my figures to come to
I think
life.
the corruption runs so deep.
I think that would be a very, very good anime, because then you would have so much copyright issues with like multiple characters from different franchises interacting with each other. But it would.
And you'd be like, "Oh, Saber, what are you doing in my kitchen?"
Oh shit, Saber and Satsuki
Eating all
double
the
team.
food.
It's us and Master
Saber
Son
and
all
Rem,
over
there's
again.
no need to fight. I can have both of you.
But but yes. Other than that,
Do you have an answer?
well, that was my answer, but I have more answers. I want to see.
Okay, well,
Okay, one more.
you can have one real answer.
I want to see. I want to see Sunken Rock get an anime.
Sunken Rock. What is Sunken Rock?
It's a really
Heard of
cool.
this.
It's a really cool manhwa.
Okay.
Okay.
That's also a
I mean,
Japanese property, isn't it?
if we're picking manhwa, then I'm changing my
Tower
answer.
of God.
Everyone knows
You
what.
picked
Yeah, everyone
Dark
knows what
Souls,
I'm
which
changing
was
it
just
to.
simply made in Japan.
Yeah, but that was the
it's
premise. It needs to be a Japanese license, so it actually could get an
But
anime.
there's like nothing Japanese actually about the game.
Yeah, but it just needs to be in Japanese
Yeah, but-
license. Like, as long as it's
It-
Japanese
it-
property,
yeah.
it's all right. I mean,
if
there's
it
not
wasn't
exactly
Dark
anything.
Souls, I would have picked. I would have picked Metal Gear Rising.
I was thinking about that actually, but I've never played it, so I thought it probably wouldn't be a good idea.
I just want another soundtrack, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Raiden's a
really
garbage
good.
character.
Instead of Sunken Rock, I want a Hatsune Miku anime adaptation.
No.
I mean, Cal will make the most money with his.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Jared, okay, you're up. Have you thought of something?
I thought Berserk Arigato, but that's actually already happening.
Yes.
So all you need is kill.
Oh, that's a cool idea. That's actually good.
It was originally a novel and then adapted into a manga by the Death Note duo.
And then America took it and had its way with it. Made The Day After Tomorrow.
Nah, it's...
No, what's it called?
Oh no, The Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow.
The Edge of Tomorrow. Which is actually
Edge
pretty
of
good.
Tomorrow.
It's
What
just
is that?
different. Tom Cruise is in it.
I think I have my answer. I think I'm a better answer. Maybe.
Okay.
I want something along the lines of IS. IS is a...
Infinite Stratos?
No. A different IS. IS stand that's a very me answer. It stands for intersexuality.
Islamic State?
It stands for intersexuality. It's a manga about basically that. And it's
okay.
I can guess.
It's something I've read a long time ago, and I fucking loved it. And I haven't finished it, but it was really good.
Cool.
And I want that to be an anime. It already
I'm
has
happy with that round of answers. That's a good round of answers.
Yeah.
G-Sendro no Mao.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Can I have it?
I'm changing my answer. I want to see a Sayano Uta anime adaptation.
Yes. Oh god.
And
do you want that to be hentai or
No, it has to be an OVA.
Like Planetarian.
And it has to be an exact adaptation.
Also, I want a Horimiya anime.
Oh my god, I need to kill this topic. Because, when I thought of this question of the week, I knew we've had a lot of rather daft, off the cuffs question of the weeks lately, so I thought, okay, let's have a conversation starter. And then I was like, hang on, is this maybe a topic? Or
you're basically asking us what do we want to get adapted the most?
Yeah, but the thing is though, I set qualifiers on it, so there wouldn't be so many things to pick, and then you immediately, all of you, disregarded my qualifiers.
Actually, yeah,
Jonas I want an esports anime. Japan doesn't do esports, I mean, fighting games, and you don't watch those.
That's why you said Riko Koko.
Yeah,
that's also not a light novel. That's a novel, so that counts.
Okay. Let's move on.
Okay.
So, this week we are going to talk about a
bunch of shows.
Yeah, we're going to just. I think we're just going to chill. We're just coming down. I don't know if the listeners might be able to tell, but I'm losing my voice slightly, and I think it's from all the yelling we did yesterday for the Anime of the Season podcast. so let's calm down from that podcast, and let's just have a little nice chat. How about that?
Deep breaths.
So I'm going to ask everybody what they've been watching outside of seasonals. We haven't done that in a while. So, Jared, you have been not exactly watching, but playing something, haven't you?
I have. Yesterday, I started Danganronpa.
Yeah.
After wanting to for about 2 years.
Me and Cassie are very happy about this. Cassie's been on my back about doing a Danganronpa podcast for a while, and it's really just the two of us that are into it. So we would either have to get a guest on or just make it like a 2-person podcast, and I really don't want to do that. Cassie's like, fuck it, we'll make it work. I'm like, no, 2 people's way too little.
I think two people could technically work, actually. I think it would be cool.
I mean, it could work, but I just don't think it's our style.
I guess.
I don't know. I wouldn't be very excited if one of the podcasts I listen to weekly was like, oh, we're going to go from a 5-man podcast to a 2-man podcast.
You could make it a Reanimate or something. Maybe.
We can have
possibly. We don't need to, because Jared's playing it.
Hey.
So I just want to, Jared. You are very early on into the game. I don't even think you're at the first. I don't even think you're at the first trial yet. So
No.
I'm going to ask you a few questions. First off, how are you finding it so far?
It's interesting. I actually kind of wish that I knew even less than I did before going in. So I think that would be really cool. Because just not knowing anything.
I mean, Danganronpa is like... I mean, there's 2 games and like 2 anime airing now, so it's kind of like people are so... Like, the spoiler gate is open on pretty much all of those 2 games.
Yeah.
And there has been for a while, so... I'm worried you pick... I don't think you picked up anything too bad. But yeah, not knowing like the general premise and stuff, that would be a cool surprise.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character so far?
That's quite tough. I like Celeste.
ISA 2.0.
Poker face.
Well, is that Cal?
I was saying ISA 2.0.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There are striking similarities. We were talking about that the other day. Actually, who comes first? Yeah, who comes first? I'm genuinely really curious.
Danganronpa was 2010.
I'm not a big ISA fan.
And when was Orihime?
Orihime was like before that.
Probably after that. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe before. Danganronpa would have been taken a long time to write, though.
I would much rather give credit to Danganronpa than to Orihime.
I mean, they're still
in any
different.
case.
They just
one's
have, like,
good.
Similar faces.
One's
and
good.
both yandere.
You what, mate?
Okay. Who do you
Kyoko's
think?
good too.
Who do you think's gonna die first?
Maybe biker gang guy. Actually, probably not.
I think this is the only spoiler I actually know or remember from the anime.
I can't remember everybody.
Okay, who do you want to die first? Just say fat guy, please.
Oh yeah,
that's the
him,
correct
of course,
answer.
Definitely. Actually, I forgot for him. He's so
He's
boring.
awful. He is easily the worst character in the entire franchise. Easily.
Is that because we all connect with him on a deep level? In some way.
We hate ourselves.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, well, I'm like, me and Cassie eagerly await all of your reactions, and this now means that at some point we'll hopefully do a Danganronpa podcast when the Danganronpa 3 anime wrap up. Okay, let's go on to Kyle. What have you been watching, dude? You said a name that I didn't recognize when we were doing our
Midori no
pre-chat.
Hibi, or commonly known as Midori Days, or I guess you could translate as Green Days. It's an anime about this delinquent
Wake me up.
guy in high school, and he suddenly wakes up one morning.
Would you say he's a basket case?
No, he's kind of like he's like a misinterpreted delinquent character.
Is he
Basically Toradora.
And he's
down the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Right, and he's known for like his demon right hand, which is like incredibly powerful, but not like otherworldly powerful. He's just known for a really hard right punch. But he suddenly wakes up one day, and his right hand from the wrist up is replaced with a really cute girl. And so this girl immediately confesses her feelings to him, and it's a rom-com from there on. Slash
okay,
drama.
I have fundamental questions. I have fundamental existential questions about the series.
Sure.
Did that girl wake into existence at that moment?
No.
Or did she have a life before
No,
being transplanted?
she was actually a high school girl who was always watching him from afar. And like he'd always been trying to get a girlfriend, but now he's got this girl on his hand who confesses her feelings for him, but he doesn't want to date a hand.
I want to
feeling.
imagine this is a show about masturbation.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the subtle innuendo.
Oh, no, there's a meme out there where it's just like what I watched, and it shows the picture of the anime and what I expected. It's got Jim Carrey looking like the main character, reaching his hand into his pants. But I haven't gone too far in it, but I feel like it's going to get pretty feely towards the end. Because as the story is now, like, her actual body is in a coma inside her house.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and
he's gonna have to
boobs.
He's gonna have to fuck her to wake her up, right?
Like
It's like Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, it's the exact same.
he has to feel her up with her.
With herself.
Oh man,
Oh god.
Okay.
That actually happens though.
If he goes and he takes her on his hand over to her like coma
And
body,
he did.
yeah, and they start getting frisky with it, yeah,
And it did.
okay. What does that classify as? Does that classify as masturbation? Does it classify as
Oh god.
like is that her on her? Or is that him on her? Is that her on him on her? Or is that incest? Is doing it with your own clone incest?
No.
No, just
I mean,
masturbation.
I need to know, does the anime address these issues?
No. No, it is.
I am disappointed.
It is not an interpersonal anime.
I need to know the answers to these questions. And
I want an existential hentai about that premise.
But other than
Important themes.
Other than that anime, let's see. I finished rewatching Shiki, which I think
Nice.
everyone should watch.
The soundtrack is damn good. I love that soundtrack so much.
Like as far as like good horror anime out there, there's not much. There's not much. And
okay, what do you say the name was? I'm actually listening.
Shiki. Shiki. It's an anime. It's an anime about vampires.
Interesting.
It's
actually quite well
It's the
received.
prequel to Diabolic Lovers.
Is it?
No, it is not.
Okay,
It's not.
It's just a spin-off.
I'm ashamed I even let myself get fooled for that fraction of a second.
Yeah, it's because I wouldn't be watching the prequel to Diabolic Lovers.
Again.
I might put that. I'm going to put that on my list actually because I'm on a quest to find a good horror anime. I'm of the opinion that it might not be possible.
It's hard. I think the good horror anime are not scary. Good horror anime
exactly.
are
Unsettling.
Okay, yeah. That I need to rephrase that. A scary horror anime, because a horror anime can be good.
I was actually
scary.
scared when I watched Higurashi the first time around. But that was like 14-year-old me watching something like
Alright.
not quite 14, but like 15-year-old.
Have they ever adapted any Junji Ito? Is that his fucking name?
Actually, I think there's one that you should watch. I forgot what its name is. I'll tell you afterwards. It's a short.
Because I've read.
Are you talking about the author of like a Uzumaki or Spiral?
It's a guy. He's like a super famous.
You're talking about the guy who wrote Spiral. The one
You'll know
where like the whole village goes
me,
insane, like about just spirals.
That sounds very much like Junji Ito.
Like, that's a really good manga that people should read if they're looking for like.
Look at that. You'll know who it is when you see it. Like his art is so disturbing.
Yeah. This guy. Yeah. Oh man, I'd love to see one of his works get adapted. Especially
the thing is though, I think he only does short stories. I don't think he's actually written a long series.
Go read Uzumaki. It's like a full. It's like a 2 or
I think it's like a 2-volume series. So it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
Go and give Yamishibai a shot. It's a short.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Oh yeah.
It's like a collection of short stories.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch. To be fair, though, I would watch the shit out of that if they made. If if they made like a short series of just a collection of his manga adapted, that would be incredible. At least I would hope.
Like Uzumaki would be the perfect choice since I believe it's his longest story. It's like a full manga book. But
okay.
Yeah, I said like Yami Shibai is another one I'd recommend. Like I've not seen it myself. I've heard good things about it. I've heard it's actually quite scary. How is it? Because
I stopped watching because I'm not into that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
It depends because
it was very unsettling.
The quality of the short stories varies. Like there are some that are like genuinely creepy, and then there are some that are just kind of a little silly.
It also depends on what you're most disturbed or afraid of.
Yeah.
I
guess give it a shot.
There's also another one.
I definitely say give it a shot.
I actually remember that this guy. There's one panel this guy's done that I saw when I was quite not super young, but like 13 maybe, and I still fucking remember it. And I just saw it again, and I actually just got like a weird fucking flashback. It's a panel where this dude's got like tons of zits all over his face, and he like forces a girl onto the ground and pops them all onto her face.
Ugh.
Oh my god, it's so traumatizing.
I think that might be from Uzumaki.
I'm gonna put it in a not safe for work channel if anyone's interested.
I feel like the thing is with anime and manga that most of the time when there's something scary, it's not really anything that's like psychologically like creepy or anything. It's just gore.
Yeah, gore doesn't scare me.
Yeah, and that's like pretty much the same, and that's like the big thing I don't like. Like people call Elfen Lied a horror show. I don't think Elfen Lied is horror.
I mean,
it's gory.
See, this is a discussion that's kind of very close to the like heart of the horror genre in general.
I guess, yeah.
Like, is gore porn horror or not?
No.
And I think I think the general consensus is that it's like a subgenre of horror. It might not be like when I think of horror, I think of like The Shining. You know, to me that's what horror is like. And I think gore can absolutely be horror, but I don't think it's exclusively.
Yeah, there's
horror,
a lot of different types of horror because like you can go back to like 90s where like Blue Gender aired, and you know that had a lot of scary stuff that scared me as a kid because it's basically like Star Wars but with giant insects that eat people.
Oh, Starship Troopers.
Kind of. Kind of.
Okay. Holy shit, I'm so fucking lost from where we were. That was me. Yeah, that was me asking Kyle what he's watched. Jonas, what have you been watching?
I've been watching 2 shows. I've been watching Baby Steps, which is
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Baby Steps is probably my favourite sport anime. I'm not sure, have I talked about this before on this podcast?
You've talked about it a lot on Twitter, but I don't think on the podcast.
I think he has a little bit.
Alright, but Baby Steps is really good. I'm not sure why, but Baby Steps is very different from most sports anime.
Yeah, you have talked about this. You talked about it when we brought during Days, when we talk about Days.
Oh yeah, I remember this now, yeah.
Yeah, like talking about like how quickly the main character starts from nothing and quickly starts to acquire skill.
But the thing is just that Baby Steps doesn't really have this focus on being like this focus on hype that you usually get with like shows like Haikyuu or shows like Kuroko no Basket. I think Baby Steps is able to get you excited over things. But not as much as Kuroko, and not in the same way. What Baby Steps does is not this whole thing of like, is he gonna throw the ball? It's not. I don't know how to say this.
Hit the ball.
It's not really over the top. It's very down to earth. Like with Kuroko, you have all the special powers. With With Haikyuu,
I mean,
I'm not
to be fair, Haikyuu doesn't have any special powers. I mean, not really. I mean, they have like secret moves and stuff, but that's stuff that you could replicate on the court.
For Baby Steps, it's simply different styles of tennis. It's I think one of the big things about Baby Steps is that it's tennis. Tennis is a single player sport. like you're standing on the court alone. That's like a big thing of what Baby Steps focuses on, because it does a lot with sports psychology, and in terms of like,
oh, that's cool.
And in terms of like, how do I get into the right mindset? There's an episode actually where the main character Achan is being trained by thinking about a certain thing and then playing and seeing how it works out.
Yeah, man, that's how you get in the zone, and when you get in the zone, your eyes light up.
I mean, that's something that actually, like, they talk about the zone itself. They actually do.
Yeah, I'm making a Kuroko reference, dude.
I know. But the zone is something that comes up in Baby Steps, and something that really does get addressed. And it's not like in Kuroko, like, oh my god, he entered the zone, but how do I get there? How can I actually try and replicate that feeling? And I think that's really, really fucking cool.
That's interesting.
And yeah, Baby Steps in itself is super strategical. Like,
okay, I do like
I've heard that's one of the main things about it. The MC actually studies.
How old are the kids? How old are the
high
kids?
School.
I assume that it's high school.
Yeah, it's high school. Yeah. But I think another thing that I really love about Baby Steps that a lot of others don't do, it looks further than high school. It doesn't. It's not just fixated on this is high school, and after this it ends. It looks at like
that's like Hajime no Ippo. Hajime,
I've not seen
Ippo. Boxing.
I've not seen Ippo.
Yeah,
I want to watch it so badly.
Boxing manga's like it's over 1,000 chapters at this point. I think that started in high school, and he's like, yeah, I think he's like on the pro scene by the end of it.
Actually, like Baby Steps does similar things with some of his characters, like the question of like how does wanting to go pro change something, or is actually something that comes up relatively early as well, because one of the main characters, Natsu, in the first episode she already says, I'm going to go pro, and like it affects a lot of things, and it's super cool. Baby Steps is like one of the most interesting sports anime.
Yeah, you have me interested, actually.
Yeah.
How many episodes is it?
It's about 50. It's 50 episodes, and split into 2 seasons.
That's a lot. I think I'll weight that one. I'll prioritize that one fairly low, but I don't actually have, other than finishing Haikyuu, I don't have any sports anime on my list.
It's honestly a bit weird, because as much as I love Baby Steps, it starts out very slow, and it's hard to get into, I think. But once you're actually into it, I think it's brilliant.
I'll keep that in mind.
All right. And yeah, the other thing I've been...
And the other thing you've watched is the thing I've watched, right?
No, actually no.
Okay.
I was just going to keep that for you. I've also been watching House of Five Leaves, or Saraya Goyo. That's the name in Japanese. And, it's a samurai show about this one guy that has no confidence, and he kind of accidentally joins a group of kidnappers. And
whoops.
Yeah.
It's really hard to describe, but like I think one of its main draws is like it's very, very slow paced. It's nothing. It doesn't really seem like anything's happening. It's very things are obviously happening, but it's very, very slowly moving forward, and it's very atmospherically moving forward. There's a lot of like the soundtrack was really good at setting the atmosphere, and it's hard to describe what's so charming about it. But
what's it called again?
House of Five Leaves.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a generally really good show about like someone, I guess, kind of starting to take more responsibility over things in a way.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to describe. I haven't finished it either yet. It's something like 9 episodes into it of 12. But it's really good, and I'd highly recommend it. So
Okay. Okay, should we get into it then?
yeah.
Okay, so I have just finished Welcome to the NHK and Hibike Euphonium. So Jonas is dying to talk about Euphonium, and the main topic of this podcast that I'll get onto after we finish talking about Euphonium is actually inspired by Welcome to the NHK. So we'll save that one for last. So yeah, Euphonium. Jonas, what are your expectations here? Well, I've been deliberately not telling Jonas what I thought of Euphonium. He has no idea.
I'm half
how I
expecting you
reacted to it.
to tell me that you disliked it, but I'm really fucking unsure.
Did you not see his tweets?
Yeah, he didn't see my tweets. So
I saw some of his tweets towards Chris.
he saw like my very first impressions, which weren't glowing.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of it? Please tell me.
I really fucking like Euphonium.
Yes. I'm so happy. Holy shit.
It's quite honestly, it's a wonderful series.
It's amazing.
Yeah. First off, I want to get my only complaint with the show out of the way, and it's not so much a complaint, it's more of an observation. I think Euphonium is quite atypical of the KyoAni shows I've seen, or at the very least, the like signature KyoAni shows, like the shows you associate with them. Insofar as usually when I think of KyoAni series, I think of a small cast of really lovable characters. And there aren't really many background characters of note, where Euphonium is all about the background characters. Like, to me, the background characters make the show, like, as good as it is. Like, the whole band and that, like, that whole, the whole narrative behind the band, like, I would almost say the band is the second most interesting character in the series.
What do you say to them?
However, I will say that I think that the main character's two friends are quite uninspired. I think they're one of the weaker parts of the series.
I didn't care about them either.
I can agree with that.
Sapphire's the lesser of the two. I do actually say that the OVA made me like the other one. I can't...
Hazuki.
Yeah.
I can see that. I've talked to a lot of people about that. I can see that.
It doesn't feel... I wouldn't even necessarily say they were bad. It's just I feel like compared to other KyoAni shows, they're kind of substandard. If that makes sense.
As I said, I can see that. I don't agree personally, but I'm not...
However, Jonas, don't worry.
Okay.
I've got a good thing. The main character is easily the best main character of any KyoAni series I've seen, and I would almost go as far as say one of the best high school characters I've ever seen.
She is incredible.
Nice.
I love Kumiko. I think
she is
fantastic.
So good. She's
my favorite character of all time, probably. So,
yeah.
It's... I'm not sure where to start with you, though. I guess I'm just going to get...
Okay, play off me then. Because I got a bunch of impressions to make.
Actually, start with the music.
It's okay, I'm not really into brass band stuff, so...
I think it works thematically. There was like one point that I really liked in episode, I think 11?
I mean, 11? I was going off 12, more like 12. OST.
Yeah, but the OST is quite brass bandy. There is a lot of brass bands.
Partially.
In the OST.
It depends. There's parts of it are.
It's not exclusively, but the OST didn't do.
There are some absolute outstanding tracks, like the one at the hill, the one where they're on the hill.
Okay, yeah, that was good. That would probably be my highlight.
That's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time.
I also really like that scene. It's Holy ship.
There are some really standout scenes in Euphonium. Like ones that I'll not forget for a long time.
Yeah.
I think that's like episode 5 is like a big one. The smile of like Reina and Kumiko for the first time, like actually coming close.
Okay. Episode 5, and this is what I was tweeting to Chris about that you saw, Jonas. Yeah. I think this is what you saw anyway.
One of them.
That is a gorgeous shot. However, I don't really feel like it's got a massive amount of emotional context behind it. I think that shot is memorable for its visuals more than
it doesn't
context.
have emotional context, but it has thematical context, and it has a lot of context in terms of like where the characters go.
In retrospect, that scene is a lot better, but when you're watching it for your first time, you really... Reina has very little screen time in the first 5 episodes. Very little.
I think one of the most magical thing about UFO for me is how much better it gets every time I watch it. I think one of the main things I love about UFO is how much more I pick up with every time. Because
there's an awful lot of detail.
Yeah, like the attention of detail in Euphonium is absolutely stunning.
so many, like, there's so many little things. Like, I could have made a list. Like, it's things like, I can't remember what it was, but she, like, throws her shoes on the ground and then gets into them, and I was just like, that's so good. Like,
yeah, I know.
There's thousands of them, thousands of little details like that.
Let's talk about that scene in episode 5, please. Okay, I want to talk about
the hair scene, yeah, the hair scene,
and the parts that come before it, because like that scene is a huge transition in terms of like Reina's and Kumiko's relationship.
Well, I mean, they don't really have a relationship. They're kind of like
they have like this awkward distance.
Kind of, yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't call that a relationship.
It's not a relationship as much. I mean,
it's up until that point. Reina is basically the person that Kumiko. Is that right?
Yeah.
I swear to God, I literally just finished the series. I can't. It takes me so much effort to remember Japanese names. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. Yeah. She just continually drops her spaghetti in front of Reina, and Reina walks off. Like. Mm-hmm. It's not really a relationship. It's more like a. I mean, I don't know what the word is, but I do agree that is the jumping point. That is the jumping off point.
Yeah, I think episode 5 or episode 3 actually would probably be like the kickstarting point of their relationship, when Reina calls Kumiko out to talk to each other, and like this whole thing of Kumiko starting to talk about what happened in middle school. I think that's what happened in that episode. I haven't rewatched that episode today. But episode 5 is like this huge turning point of where they actually start to interact properly. Because before, it's always Kumiko getting incredibly scared of Reina. She is genuinely frightened by how Reina would react to her, and she doesn't want Reina to think negatively of her at all.
Exactly.
And like, that scene is Kumiko trying to get a conversation with Reina going and acting properly and fucking up.
Yeah.
And Reina reacting to it positively. And that itself changes a huge set of like, changes Kumiko's mindset towards interacting with Reina a lot.
Okay, I agree. I really, really like the Kumiko and Reina stuff leading up to that scene. However, it's all Kumiko. Like, Reina literally watches the spaghetti get dropped and then walks off.
Yeah, I mean, that's Reina up to that point. So Reina doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And all my point is about that scene is that, like, in the context of a first viewing, it doesn't really mean a lot. Once you understand where the story goes, you can look back on it and go like, "Oh, yeah, that was really nice."
You might be right about that.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, but literally on the first watch, and because that scene is probably the most famous scene in UFO. Like, I'd seen that scene being like in GIF form hundreds of times. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you.
It's not like it's not the best scene you've ever, far from it. I think episode.
It might be the best looking thing. I think that is an incredibly striking.
I think episode 8 is better
visually.
visually.
The last shot.
I think episode 8 is probably the best looking part of UFO.
Sure, but can you fit it into a 5-second GIF?
Oh no, definitely not. But
that's my point.
Yeah.
So I was expecting that scene. So when it came up, I was like, well, nothing really happened here. Like, this isn't. I was expecting that scene to be like a big deal. Like, we're gonna win the tournament no matter what or something. Mm-hmm. Like, but yeah. So that was all I was really saying about that scene. It's like, in the first viewing, it's like, wow, that looks amazing. Who's Reina?
I can agree with that. I think, as I said, UFO grows while rewatching it. Like having,
I would actually say almost. Sorry, just to finish. If it wasn't for the fact that I knew a bit about UFO going into it, I wouldn't actually have assumed that Reina was the main character by that point, because she gets so little screen time.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it was kind of similar to me.
So yeah, but I that's not a negative. That's nothing negative. I'm just saying that people. I feel like the people who are most fond of that scene probably are the people who have rewatched UFO, because I feel like that scene would have so much more weight on a second viewing than the first.
I think in general, like a lot of what happens in the first few episodes of UFO is much more powerful on rewatch. For example, Aoi. Aoi is a character that no one really cares for.
Who's that?
The one that left band.
Yeah, I thought it was her.
She's a character that no one really cares for. I love her because I think
She's good.
She's really good. She's like the antithesis to Kumiko. And Ray, and actually, no,
I mean,
more to Reina than Kumiko.
She's like the possibly. I think the lines are better drawn between, like, Reina is switched on and is on the entire time, where Kumiko ramps up and Aoi ramps down, and that's why I think that they are kind of at a good comparison. I don't know. I guess
what I'm talking about here is maybe more in terms of like how the themes work. Because, like, UFO is a lot about, like, living your passion and stuff, right? It's about, like, being...
Possibly.
It's, and Aoi is kind of...
Passion is a very vague term, and that was the term I heard getting thrown around, and, like, one of the people who was, like, getting me, like, when I was talking to UFO was, like, asked me, is passion a topic you're interested in? And I'm like, passion is meaningless without context. So... I don't care if shitty characters are passionate about something. I'm not going to care about that thing just because they're passionate.
I think
you need characters and you need context.
UFO isn't just about, like, passion as a whole, I guess. What makes more sense, I guess, is to say UFO is about how to live your passion and how to use your passion in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And Aoi is very much the antithesis of...
Yeah, she's dispassionate.
She loses her passion. Her passion is gone. And I think as a character, that's why I think I love her as a character a lot. I think she worked as a character super well. There's a scene in episode 2 that I really like, between Aoi and Kumiko, where they talk to each other at that sea. And, like, well, that becomes really clear very early on. It's... I love this show so much.
you can barely manage a sentence. Holy crap!
Yeah. Just too many things to say.
I would definitely say that the comparison is stronger between her and Kumiko because Kumiko finds her passion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay,
like she doesn't even want to play. She doesn't even want to play euphonium at the start. I was like, don't make her play euphonium. Let her play the trombone. Come on, guys. But by the end of it, she's chasing Reina's, like, she's on the hype train, but like Aoi falls off. Like, that's why I think that they meet in the middle like that, almost in that way.
I can see that, yeah.
One thing I really like about Aoi's character and role and narrative is that so often when you get a series that is about a school band driving towards nationals or something like that, it feels like everything in that world revolves around that subject.
Yeah.
Everything in sports anime revolves around that sport. And the thing I like about Aoi is that, no, actually, there is a life outside brass band, and this girl wants to choose that life.
Can we get back to sports anime, really? If we can baby steps.
Yes, you can, because I need to go to the toilet.
All right, go.
So I want you done by the time I get back. Okay, go.
Because baby steps is actually kind of similar in that form to UFO, where it's a lot about it's mainly about tennis. It's and like most of the life revolves around tennis, but everything else kind of is in the back, but it still exists. Like this whole thing of like, okay, I'm playing a shit ton of tennis, but school still exists. I should study some more. Like that's a big part of baby steps as well. And, but UFO does that really well, and I think Kumiko's sister is another one of those characters that kind of draws that parallel in a way to Aoi, as being like a very similar character.
Yeah, because she used to play as well, didn't she?
Yeah, she used to, and then stopped because she wanted to get into college, but didn't manage to.
Whoops.
Rip Kumiko's sister.
I would draw comparisons to the female volleyball team in Haikyuu.
I've not seen that. I'm still haven't
they're very early on. They are very early on. Basically, the female team doesn't really try that much. And,
actually, yeah, I think I know that.
They kind of get like, at the end, like all of these girls that have been like skipping practice, like get hyped up by the boys' team, and are like, hang on, actually no, we really want to win, but it's way too late, and they realize that there's no way they can win, and they get knocked out in the first round, and they're all crying, and they didn't expect to care that much. So there's a parallel there, but Jonas, did you finish your point?
Yeah, I did.
Can we keep going on UFO? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is one of the reasons why I like UFO so much, and I think this is really important. Drama is really good, and I wish more anime had engaging drama.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what you think about that, Jonas, because you strike me as the type of person that doesn't necessarily latch onto drama in series.
What do you mean by drama? Do you mean like
issues, arguments, butting heads?
I love that.
People not getting along.
I don't think it's a necessary thing, but I think if it's done well, it can be incredible. I mean, UFO shows that. I think what UFO does well in terms of its drama actually is it shows both sides as equals. It doesn't just doesn't go, this girl is an asshole because she wants Kaori to win and she does everything for that. It goes,
Ribbon Girl is my second favourite.
She is fantastic. I rewatched The Edition today and I cried because she was crying.
I'll have to see what I think on the rewatch.
Ribbon Girl is really good.
Yeah, a lot of people hate her, but I think she's fantastic. And I think...
Yeah, because, I mean, nothing triggers me more than the phrase forced drama.
Yeah.
Because drama is so inherent to the human condition.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what, guys? People tend not to get on all the time. And I feel like anime, like, most of the time portrays this really optimistic view of the human experience where people just never get into arguments. And it doesn't necessarily bother me when you can watch an entire anime series without two people ever getting into an argument. However, it's more a case of when I do see good drama, I'm just like, yes, okay, good. Like, it makes me want to see that stuff.
I have a recommendation for you afterwards, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's so good.
So,
it feels, the thing is, like, as I said, it just never feels like one party stands above the other. It's always this person in a way, is understandable. UFO frames Yuko or Ribbon in a way that makes her understandable. Like, it's easy to actually sympathize with her, which is something I didn't expect to get out of UFO. I expected UFO to just...
I was actually at the point of being like, Reina, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you had to wait a year for your solo. It's not going to make you any worse at the trumpet.
Yeah.
You know? It means a lot more to those two than it does to you, Reina. Like,
I mean, I don't think it does mean more to them.
No.
I don't think it does.
The two of them combined, I think probably. I think Reina... The thing is Reina's acting more out of pride.
I don't think so. I don't think it's pride.
Yeah, I think she is. I think she is motivated. I think she is more motivated by pride than passion in those scenes because, like I say, it's not... She would had the last 2 years. It's not going to make her any less... there is a difference between Reina wanting to be really good at the trumpet, that's passion, and Reina wanting to be special, that's pride.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, if you phrase it like that, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Reina wanting to be special. That's Reina wanting to be in the spotlight. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that actually makes her quite an interesting character. Like, I like flaws. I like flawed characters a lot.
I think she just also doesn't agree with the idea of.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, I am the best. I work the hardest.
She does question it towards the end, and like, in the end, it's this whole argument of Kaori and Yuko against Kumiko and Reina. In a way, where it's like you say, like those two combined have more than Reina, but I think like Reina and Kumiko combined is kind of equals it out in a way. It may not be entirely passion, but like this passion and pride combined, I guess.
Yeah,
and I think both are. I
do not think that necessarily frames Reina as the villain, but all I'm saying is when I was watching it, I was like, Reina, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you let this girl play the trumpet for the last time. Like, I feel like Reina was kind of stepping on dreams at that point.
I think one character that I want to bring up is Asuka. What do you think of Asuka?
Is that the girl who leans out the window all the time?
No, that's Natsuki. Natsuki. Oh, I love Natsuki.
Asuka. I like Natsuki a lot. Asuka.
Asuka's
didn't dislike her, but she
interesting.
doesn't really do much for me.
I think Asuka's really interesting.
I like her relationship with the leader, the head of the club, a lot. I think that's the only time when she's on the screen where I'm like really
I
interested
think
in what she has to say.
Haruka, Asuka, and Carl Ray's in it. Not Carl Ray's in it. I think the third year trio is really cool. And as far as I know, they actually get more focus in the second season. From what I've heard. I know that a friend of mine has read the novels, and I think they get a lot of focus in season 2, which I'm really, really excited about because they're fantastic, and I really want to see more of them.
I'd rather see more of. I'd rather see more of the first years, to be honest.
I feel like the first years are mostly they're obviously not finished, but I think. The third year's relationship, this is something that, again, originally I wasn't interested in. But, on rewatch, I really enjoy Haruka and Asuka's relationship a lot. Where Haruka is this really timid and shy club president that really isn't good at leading people. And Asuka is, really good at leading people, but she doesn't want to do it. She constantly, actually steps back from any responsibility she's supposed to get. Whenever someone asks her, what do you think of this? She said, I don't matter. Ask someone else. Ask the club president. Ask the president. Ask the teacher. You know what I mean? And I think that, in a way, makes Asuka really interesting, and I want to know more about her. And...
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see more of her and the president doing their thing, but as far as characters go, there are an awful lot of good characters in the background of Euphonium, and she's just one of the ones that I'd rather see someone else.
All right, I can see that. Yeah, but I just think in terms of how Asuka is one of the characters that to me feels like it's the least finished, I guess. For especially people like Hazuki, Kumiko, Reina, they're basically done. They have had their fair share of... Not basically done, but they have had their...
I see what you mean. They've had a complete arc,
exactly.
working towards the tournament.
And Asuka
getting
is
goals.
lacking exactly that, I feel like.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things
okay,
as well.
I mean, sure, maybe. But I want to touch on 2 more things before we wrap up UFO and get on to the topic. I want to talk about how good the teachers are. Because they are the most realistic teachers I've seen in an anime. Because they are the female teacher especially immersed me so much because she was that's a teacher that I can relate to. That's a teacher that I had at school. Honestly, one of the most immersive scenes in the entire anime was when that teacher told the girls to lower their skirts. Their skirts were too high.
It was I
was like, that's every day at school. Holy shit. Oh my god. I was like, oh my god, this teacher's amazing. She's constantly stern and yelling and saying that they're high school students, they need to act like it. That's every single...
Yeah.
Here's something from behind the scenes of schools that you might not know. Every single year group at a school gets told that you are year blank now. You should be acting like it. Every single year, you should have reached this pinnacle of maturity that means that you should never misbehave. That's the go-to line.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And also, I like the teacher a lot because he's a dick, and that's good.
I don't think he necessarily is a dick.
Me and Abels had an argument.
I know.
Yeah, he is a dick. That doesn't make him a bad teacher.
I mean, do you mean he's a dick in terms how do you mean he's a dick in what way?
He doesn't give a fuck about your feelings.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
His priority is getting shit done, and I like that.
Yeah, I like it. Well.
Yeah.
I think it works.
I feel like often in anime like this, the mentor holds the character's hands the whole way. Not in this, no.
Yeah.
The teacher goes, what you are doing is not good enough. This is where you should be.
Yeah.
And when they get there, then he's nice, but
I really like the conversation at the start where he asked the entire class, "Do you want to do this?"
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did that with this podcast. You talked about it on the history episode, but I was like,
True,
guys,
yeah.
we can keep going like we want, but if you want to get serious about this podcast, I can get serious about the podcast. Like, I can make sure we get a podcast out every week, but I'm going to crack the whip. So I related to that a lot.
I mean, he's a really good teacher, and I'm really excited for like more of him as well, because like there's been foreshadowing that he gets more attention with
that's a character I want to hear more of. His like story. I want to know why, if he's such a hotshot, he's teaching in a high school. I don't know if that's necessarily like exclusive. I don't, but if that means anything. But at the same time, I feel like he's not exactly content with the way his life has gone. I get that feeling. I get that impression. I think maybe he resents the attention he's got. And the like, his name means something, and he strikes me as a person that doesn't like that kind of attention. He's not like Raina, who wants to be special.
I mean, I think that would be a really cool contrast to how Raina works. I'm not sure if that's how it is.
As well. Me neither, because it doesn't outright say that's my.
I know what you mean. I know.
That's my. I've inferred that from his personality so far.
Yeah, I know. I'm just not sure if that would be. If that would fit his personality.
I think that would be the way that would be the way it would go. That would satisfy me the most. And that's I want to talk about really quickly. The series handles romance really well.
Yeah.
There is an absolutely adorable couple in the brass section.
Yes.
I liked the love triangle. I thought it was well done. And there is something between Kumiko and Reina.
I'd like to call it.
I'm not saying it's full blown.
Yeah, I know.
But there is something. I think that there is something going from Kumiko to Reina. There is some part of attraction there.
I feel like it's attraction, but I'm not sure why, but I can't agree that it's necessarily sexual. I don't think it's sexual attraction. For once,
no,
I don't think so.
I wouldn't even necessarily argue it's entirely romantic. I would argue it's like infatuation.
Yeah, I can. That is something I would absolutely agree to. Because like I've seen a lot of people.
I think Kumiko is like borderline obsessed with Reina at the end of that series.
I think it's almost from both sides.
Like hooked on her.
Both sides, yeah.
Way more in one direction. Way more in one direction. Reina does not. Reina does not need Kumiko the way Kumiko needs Reina.
Reina does need Kumiko. Reina needs Kumiko. I feel like Reina. I'm not saying. Reina is a very.
Look, oh my god! Why do we always have to deal with absolutes? Look, I am just saying that Kumiko needs her more. I'm not saying that Reina doesn't need Kumiko.
Sorry then.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I don't think that's the case.
I do not think it's a 50-50 relationship at all. I think
it's pretty close.
I think Kumiko is chasing after Reina, and Reina's leading her onwards.
Kumiko is indeed chasing after Reina. I agree with that, but Reina needs Kumiko to support her. I think that gets really clear in episode 11, like when the addiction happens.
Yes, I agree with that. However,
Reina does need Kumiko, and I think they're relatively equal on that level. They're like it's.
No, I disagree. This is 100% down to interpretation.
Yeah,
though, so
before they even became friends,
is the way I see the series.
They definitely both showed interest in each other.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely
it wasn't
from
just
both sides.
Kumiko looking at Reina.
The way I would put it is that Kumiko is looking at Reina's back and Reina's looking forward. And while I feel like Kumiko is being pulled more than Reina is being pushed, if that makes sense.
I don't think Reina is being pushed at all.
Maybe, but...
I don't think Reina's being pushed. Reina's pushing herself, but she needs kind of like she's being. I'm not sure how to say this, but she needs stability, and that stability is where Kumiko comes into play.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, I think that's a really good way of putting it. I still do not think. I still think that the balance of power in that relationship is way more in Reina's favor, and I like that. I don't necessarily. A 50-50 relationship isn't as interesting as one where it's more one-sided.
Yeah, as I said, as you said, that's down to interpretation. Like, we could argue here all day.
Yeah. But I think it would be fascinating if they would explore some. And I don't know if they need to go explicit, but I think, and I would actually argue that there is absolutely implied romance between those two characters.
I can see that. It's
I mean, it's so. It's almost borderline, not even subtle. Like, who was it doing? Who where she run her hand down her face and her lip?
Yeah,
and they held each other head in their hands, and Kimiko's like, "This is a confession of love." Like, it is. They intend it to be playful.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is almost like. It undeniably meant to be implied that maybe it is not entirely playful.
Mm-hmm.
So that I am convinced that on some level there is something between those two, and definitely in that context, that is definitely more Kumiko towards Reina than Reina towards Kumiko, which I think would be I think that would be fascinating if that's the way they went with it. But we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just maybe it's just Yuri bait, and I've
don't.
I've fallen hook, line, and sinker.
I hate that word so much.
What,
Yuri bait.
Probably Yuri bait.
Yuri bait.
Yeah.
It's a terrible
Anything
word.
bait is. No, it's not good, but I like using bad words.
Yeah, I know. It's a buzzword. Please don't use it. To bring that meme back.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess I'll give UFO my 3 R's really quickly. It's a 9 out of 10 with the.
Nice.
I have to admit, I'm not 100% done with that though, because I would recommend it to anyone. And I think I'm most likely going to rewatch it at some point. And that's the thing, is I think it's a 9 with the possibility to climb. This is easily one of my all-time favourite high school anime, if not one of my top 10.
Okay.
I'm so happy.
and by a long way, sorry, Jared, by a long way better than my previous favourite thing from Kyoani, which is Hyoka.
I was about to bring that up, but then you did it anyway. In a worse fashion than I hoped.
I am so much more enamored with this series than I was Hyoka. Hyoka was neat and comfy and fun, but this series got me so hooked and invested in a way that series didn't.
Can I give my 3 R's?
Which is why that series is an 8 and this series is a strong 9.
Can I give my 3 R's or?
Do you need to?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to give your 3 R's for Baby Steps?
Actually, yeah, I could.
I'll do that.
I haven't finished rewatching season 2. But from what I remember, I'd give Baby Steps a 9 out of 10. If we only go season 1, it's probably a strong 8 to a weak 9. I would recommend it to basically anyone, especially if you enjoy sports anime. However, I would recommend you stick with it longer than what you usually would, since it does take time to get going, sadly enough.
How long? Like 12 episodes or something? Longer or less?
I think it's good. I think it's pretty good from episode 6 or 7 on. But until the part where I absolutely fell in love with it, it's in season 2.
Oh God.
I think from episode 12 on, it's already good. That you probably continue watching it then, I'm guessing. But
see, this is where it's so much easier to recommend things like Haikyuu. That if you don't love it after 2 episodes, you're insane.
Baby Steps is really hard to recommend, honestly, but I think it's absolutely worth watching just for the sake that it's an incredibly interesting sports and does super interesting things.
Okay.
And rewatch it while I'm currently doing that. So.
Yeah, I think it's better if we keep in line when we give 3 R's on shows like this. Mm-hmm. Everyone here's seen UFO, and I don't know if it's if every time we talked about a series, the people that had finished it gave their 3 R's, it would drag on a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is why I feel like when you have something to talk about, like Jonas with Baby Steps and me with UFO, that's when you give your 3 R's, maybe. I don't know. We all have mals and shit. If people want to know our scores and everything, then they can go check out our mals.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So, UFO is good. Very, very
good. Wait, so I can't give my 3 R's on UFO?
You don't need to.
You don't need to, Jonas.
I just want to say the 10 out of 10.
10, yes. Is that... Is that correct?
Yeah, it is a 10. It's a 10 with a possibility to climb.
Oh, just like Yoka.
It is my favorite anime of all time, after all. So,
yes, which I think I've had some part in convincing you of. Hopefully,
sorry.
I'm saying hopefully I would take a little credit in convincing you of that.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Just because you're like, Kalen's my favorite anime, proceeds to rant about UFO for fucking I think 10,000 tweets.
I mean, Kalen's my favorite anime was mainly for like a relatively small period of time, and then basically went back to UFO again.
Yeah. That's the thing, is it's your favorite. The thing that you give your favorite to is something that sticks with you in a way that only a handful of series ever could.
I think I have like 5 shows that I would give that to.
Yeah, I think I've got 3. You know,
I'm wondering if I could, like, I have the 2 lower ones would be probably Madoka and Gatchaman Crowds. Other than that, like Shirobako, Wandering Sun, UFO, like the top 3 for me that are like really close to being my absolute favorites. Actually being my favourites. But yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, we do have on the docket, we do have a podcast. I think, what's it called on the sheet? Let me check. It's something funny. Group Rumble Favourite Anime. Where the entire thing is that we all list our favourite 5 anime and then just shit on each other's
We should do it like AniView though. Like, on AniView we started a series where everyone makes like a top 30 of their anime. Favorite anime, and then we talk about each one of them really quickly, and then like for what
that's not going to work, because I could never talk about anime that quickly, especially my top 30.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I think we're good at talking about anime. I think we could fill up 2 hours
by talking about each of our
Jonas,
5 favorites.
Could you talk about Wandering Sun for less than 10 minutes?
Probably not.
Is that possible?
What we could do is like having like top 20 for one person, then do 20 for another person.
See, what I would do is I think we would all pick our favourite 5, and then we would go around and would start at 5. Like Kyle would say his, Jared would say his, Jonas would say his, I would say mine, Cassie would say hers.
Okay.
And then would go around again with 4. And I just want this like idea of like booing and cheering, like as stuff comes up, like like getting into arguments, like why the hell is that there and stuff like that.
I can't wait till we talk about
get into, like, we could start playing games.
The thing is, I'd actually think that would work better if we made it like maybe a 2-part thing and have like top 10, because like the top 10 is something that there's a lot more surprises in the top 10 than there are in the top 5. Because like we know each other's favourites by now, so a top 10 would maybe be more.
It's just the top 10 would drag on a lot, because I was thinking we could play games with it, like it like if you each person has a choice of like one thing they can move on someone else's list up or down. Like what would you pick and why? Like okay, well I'm taking this off Jared's list because he's a fucking idiot. I'm dropping that down to 5. And like Jared's like, oh well, fuck you. I'm moving this on your list up to number 1. Like, fuck you. Stuff like that. I don't know. We could have a lot of fun with something like that.
We should like just talk about this like after this podcast maybe. We're still recording.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's on the docket. It's any of those things for discussion. Okay, so I guess let's get on to like the thing I want to talk about. I guess we're not going to talk about it. I mean, you watched UFO. Do you just not remember it?
Don't remember it.
Yeah. Oh well.
It's because it's so bad, right?
It's very forgettable.
Well, I mean,
Jonas, I will shit on my favorite series if it means triggering you. Yeah, so the other series I watched is Welcome to the NHK, which is in a way more interesting than UFO, but not as good. Welcome to the NHK is a really challenging anime. That made me at times incredibly uncomfortable. Because there are certain parts of that anime that I can relate to in a way that is actually distressing. Which is interesting because I don't think I've watched an anime that's ever done that before. So, what do you guys? How much of Welcome to NHK have you guys watched
None
or
of it.
are familiar with?
8 episodes.
I read the manga and then I watched the anime.
Okay, what do you think? What do you guys think? Kyle, you've seen the most of them.
Dude, this
what
was
did you think?
years and years ago.
Okay. Jared, you got any thoughts? Just throw out there.
It was definitely unique.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that gets touched on in this anime. Like the feeling of self-worth is, I would say, the common theme between all the characters, and every character in the series is pitiful and broken in their own way. The main character is an absolute wreck. Like, can barely leave his apartment. Like, has almost psychotic episodes. Not like violent, but like he just completely loses the plot and starts acting like a maniac. Like, I would actually say he's like almost manic depressive. There's a senpai of his from high school that it comes into the story that actually carries around a pill case full of antidepressants and recommends some to him, like when they meet up, like, hey, I've got all of these, take your pick, you know. There's like there's a suicide pact at one point. There's my personal favorite arc is he gets sucked into a pyramid scheme in like the second half. And his friends are like, you're a fucking idiot. How the hell did you get sucked into a pyramid scheme? And he was like, I don't know. I knew it was a pyramid scheme, but they talked me into it anyway. And then they go and quit, and they all get talked into buying more product. Like the two friends are like, whoa, no way. If we buy this nutritional supplement, will that cure him of his shut-in like complex? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, it worked for me. And like, so they all end up buying it, and then they get back to their apartment. It's like, oh fuck, what do we do? It is in a way, it's a wonderful anime, because while these characters are like broken and pitiful, they all kind of find hope in a strange way. Like, the suicide arc especially is probably the most preachy it gets, because the senpai who's carrying around antidepressants all the time just decides that she's had enough, and her and a bunch of her online friends get on a boat, go off to an island. They're all going to kill themselves by jumping off a cliff, and the main character somehow gets roped into this because he thought it was a holiday. There was a miscommunication.
Oh my god.
And anyway, it resolves well. And there's this old dude that, like, after they've all like been rescued, there's this old dude at the bathhouse who's like, just chews them out. Like do you have any idea how much trouble you would have caused? There's construction site down there that would have had to have closed for weeks to clean up and investigate. All of your families would have been just devastated, and all of this, and like completely chews them out. And at the end, he's like, look, take it from a guy who's made some, like, who was on the edge himself. You know, like, he calls them stupid over and over again. And he says, take it from a guy who used to be pretty stupid.
Okay.
And yeah, so man, like, there are parts of it that I don't like, especially the otaku culture stuff. And I guess this is
that.
Yeah, it's the first arc, and it's difficult to get through. His neighbor is this like awful. He's an asshole, but the thing is like when you realize that, you actually get to celebrate it in a weird way. He's like, I made a tweet basically comparing him to the standard person online. He's like, a girl stood me up once, so women are a plague. And then like a woman starts chatting to him, and he's like, yes, mistress, I'll do whatever you say. He's a worm. He's like this little weasel of a character. He's amazing. And yeah, but it's very heavy on otaku culture, like in that first arc. And I guess Welcome to NHK was probably one of the first anime to do that, like with things like Genshiken. Am I saying, is that the right one? Did I get that?
I think so.
I'm constantly worried I say the wrong name. That's about the club at high school.
Yeah.
That's or no, it's at uni, I think.
No idea.
The anime club or whatever it is.
I might be.
But
right.
yeah, they're like the front runners for all of this like otaku meta culture we've got in anime now. And in a way, I resent it for it. In a way, I respect it for being like groundbreaking in that regard. But it just that stuff falls off me like water off oil. You know,
Yeah.
like do not like that stuff at all. But I'd say once I got past it, like episode 6, it was so engaging after that point.
Is that when he meets the upper class?
Kind of. She pops in and out of the story quite a few times. Until like, and then she has her arc.
Okay.
Yeah, there's. Oh man, I'll tell you. I'll share with you the part that actually hit me the hardest. This is much later in the series. There's a character who used to be the student council president, and we see her quite often in flashbacks, and she's like, the whole class is. And this is something. This is one of the things I want to talk about, but it's surprisingly demystifies Japan in a way that makes a lot of sense to a Western viewer, because she is in that classroom, she's the class president, and she's like, come on guys, get your shit together, we've got like 3 days to prepare for the culture festival, and you haven't done anything, and all of the kids are just chatting and like fobbing her off and like giving her lip, and she's just getting really frustrated. And to me, that's what I would associate with high school way more. Yeah, that's to me, that's a high school experience, you know. So you meet her again later, and she's the pyramid scheme lady. Like she got sucked into a pyramid scheme, and she ended up getting super deep into it, and she's climbing kind of high up in it, but like her life is a mess. But her brother is also a shut-in, and he is someone who frightens me, because he's basically like living at home, and he's way worse than the main character. Like when they come into his room, he has like a full-on panic attack and breaks down, like sobbing, like like screaming at his sister, I told you never to let people in here. And you're introduced to him by like he's literally banging his foot on the floor, like because he's hungry. And his sister, this woman who's like caught up in like horrible debt and pyramid schemes, is literally, their parents died, so she had to like completely take care of him. And I don't know, but to me that's my darkest timeline. That's like my living nightmare, is being that person.
Mm-hmm.
So that really emotionally hit me. That character. And I do like to say that he does get, when the food cuts off, he crawls out of his room and gets a job, which I would like to think at the very least that would be the end to my darkest timeline as well. I wouldn't let myself starve on my fucking bedroom floor, surrounded by anime figures and bags of trash. In front of an MMO, he's an MMO player as well. That's the thing that destroyed his life.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing that destroyed his life. So it's like, it's the parallels between his life and mine are so scary, it's unreal.
Yeah, for a second there, I was about to get triggered because I thought you were talking about me. I was about to say, fuck you, I have a job. I can have as much trash and anime figures in my room as I want.
What's the difference?
No, absolutely, Kyle. Kyle, absolutely. There's a huge difference between spending your food money and spending your Porsche money on figures. So yeah. Welcome to NHK. I'm just going to really quickly blast off my R's, because I want to like, I think the discussion around NHK is fascinating, and that's what I want to get to. So I gave it an 8 out of 10, which I think is quite strong for the flaws it had. It really resonated with me in several ways, and I can honestly say I've never seen anything like it in anime.
I haven't seen anything like it anywhere. I haven't finished it.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, how often is mental health issues even brought up in anime? It's wonderful, and it's such a shame that it's like, I have to imagine it didn't do very well. I have to imagine. Probably not in Japan. I hope it did decent, but the fact that we haven't seen anything like it since kind of lets me know that it didn't really.
It might have even been a bit of a sleeper, perhaps. I could see that.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. I think it is to a Western audience.
Oh yeah.
Like I think Welcome to the NHK almost gets more relevant as time goes on. Like these are issues that affect millennials more than any other generation. So I would recommend it to anyone who feels like they can stomach it. I feel like there's a lot of it, there would be a time in my life where I would have been unable to watch this series. Like during the worst years of my life, I actually would not have been able to watch this series. I wouldn't have been able to manage it. I know that for a fact. So yeah, as long as you are comfortable with these topics and feel like you can handle them, great. Because this is an anime that will genuinely challenge you. Just please try and get past the first arc, the Otaku arc. It gets so much better. Like, it's such a shame that that's the first arc in retrospect. Like I imagine, I understand why they would do it. Like, haha, let's have some
at least
like
there was stuff on the side.
Yeah, let's have some like meta satire to get everyone's attention before dragging them into the really deep shit. And I don't know if I would rewatch it. I don't know if there's much value in a rewatch. It would be a difficult thing to rewatch, especially I would definitely skip that first arc, definitely, and maybe I'd rewatch like certain arcs again. But the discussion I want to have is the Japan that we see in anime. I feel like is a very tinted version of real Japan.
Yeah.
And watching Welcome to the NHK, I felt like that anime was peeling back that tint and showing us what the real world looks like. And I want to talk about how different do we think, how accurate do we think that the general impression of Japan that we get from anime is? And what areas do we think it holds up and maybe doesn't hold up? And also, especially, I want to talk to Jonas because he's going to live in Japan in a few months. So yeah, I guess my first question would be how accurate do you think the depiction of Japan, the common depiction of Japan in anime is?
Really depends on the anime.
I think, yeah. I mean,
I would say there's almost consensus.
I mean, most
anime convey Japan in very similar ways.
Most often, the fulfillment sense is, well, I mean, with like all media, is overblown out of proportion. Like there is no being the special one in any part of the culture in Japan, and I think a lot of times they overblow the sense of like. I think one of the most overblown things in anime is the sense of fulfillment and entitlement. Like just look like any harem show. Just some random kid who most often in a harem sense is no one special. It's a sense of
like the self-insert character is like a staple
character
of anime these days.
Pretty much most youth in Japan can relate to.
See, I would argue that the self-insert character is actually very, very common to American media as well. Especially, definitely.
Yeah. But then it's specialized in Japan.
It's in a different context, but it's still very similar.
It's specialized
a different
in Japan,
context, but
where you'll have a main character who's no one special, most often being the unpopular person, or whether he's unpopular, not good looking, mean, or just a basic asshole. But then suddenly finds himself surrounded by a ton of beautiful women that want nothing but his dick.
I think, in terms of like media, I think that exists almost everywhere. I mean, I just watched part of Transformers yesterday, and I think that the main character of Transformers, I almost don't remember his name. I already don't remember his name. Shia LaBeouf. That's all I know about him.
That's his name. That is his name.
Pretty much.
He is very much an inside character. Self-insert character.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
And it's not the thing of like, there's many girls that want his dick. It's just, there's just one extremely hot girl that wants his dick, and all the world needs you. And that's like how you have it in America. It's not.
No, Jonas is absolutely right. The self-insert character is not a staple of Japanese society. However, one thing I will say is, if I think it was Stephen Fry who said it the best when asked about the difference between American comedy and British comedy, is that in American comedy often you see the main character be the wisecracker, who no matter what life throws at him, he always has a one-liner to throw back. You know, and the British, So American comedy is like the wisecracker versus the world, and the wisecracker gets his wins. Where British comedy is the world against a loser. Like British people identify with losers who get their comeuppance, like bad people who do not good things, who the world shits on. Like that's our typical comedy character. And I feel like it's super interesting actually, because I don't feel like the self-insert character is. In a way, that is our self-insert character. We can identify with the character who gets the character getting pantsed by the bully, rather than the character who pantses the bully back. You know, and that's something that's been talked about quite a lot in comedy by very smart people. So, but yeah, now I think about it, no, it is a self-insert character. We just don't give ourselves. We just don't give ourselves a lot of credit.
I think the other aspect in anime that is completely wrong about Japanese culture is having any outgoing characters, overt personalities, I should say. Because like you'll travel to Japan and people will most likely keep to themselves rather than talk to you
in public.
In public, yeah.
Yeah, in public,
true.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely not the case. Not the case where I'm from. And if you live in places like New York and stuff like that, it's definitely not the case. Like people chat on the like in villages, people will stop and chat, and in towns, people will stop and yell. Like, I do actually. I think that's a good point.
Like in Japan,
I can't speak too much
like in
to
Japan,
Japanese culture because I'm not 100% familiar.
More often times, you're raised to ignore problems, such as like if there's someone pestering you on a bus. Like in Japan, you're taught to just ignore them completely, say nothing to them, like turn your head and like just ignore them. Or even for like people soliciting you on.
Otherwise, you're encouraging them.
Yeah, you're not encouraged to. You're encouraged not to interact with people you don't want to interact with. Instead of saying like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not interested," or
I don't know about that.
Do you?
There's a lot of
in certain situations that does seem to be true.
I mean, we can't make blanket statements. Blanket statements don't exist. But what we can look at is things like perceived trends, which is what we have access to through anime. We can talk about the things that we see in anime.
Like, people who live in Japan's blogs.
Yeah, okay, well, that's the thing. Like, none of us yet have actually lived in Japan. Actually, Kyle, you might have done, knowing you. Is that a yes or a no?
I have lived in Japan, yeah.
Okay. But Jonas is, and... Jonas, do you think you have realistic expectations for what life is going to be? Or do you think that you're going to be not disappointed, but surprised by how different
I'm kind of conflicted.
Society is?
I think I've been in China before, not for long, only for a week or so. 2 weeks, actually. And I don't feel like China is in some ways similar to Japan.
It sounds, if you only went for a week, then there is a difference between going to a place as a tourist and going to a place as a citizen. I know. That's a very, very different experience.
I have experience.
Not even to mention,
I have experience interacting with Chinese people, as in we were exchange students there. So I know I've talked to a decent amount of Chinese students and stuff. I'm guessing it will be kind of similar. But I think the main thing for me is that I think my view of Japanese society is not really influenced by anime as much as it's been influenced by Western stereotypes of Japan. This whole thing of everyone like it being very... Like, there's a lot of people that talk about how unpleasant it must be to live there because of the people's mindsets and, like, community over individuality and stuff.
I think a lot of the culture shock coming from Japan, a lot of times you'll see people saying China and Japan are very different for the fact that up until recent up until modern times, Japan was a secluded country for nearly 100 years. They were by themselves. They wouldn't, like, no one was coming in and no one was leaving. Like, not the case for China, but it changed them in a way that I think a lot of people just get. It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. I think, like, I think something you hear a lot about Japan is that it's not very open towards towards outsiders. That there is a lot of not really. I'm not sure if it could already be considered racism.
A lot of people say xenophobic.
Well, yeah, xenophobic is probably a good one.
We actually talked to Holden about that.
Yeah, and he said that's not the case. Like, I mean, I think that's what I'll probably.
He said it's more the case with the older generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Who want to keep like Japanese tradition intact by keeping people who don't understand Japanese tradition out. I think that's the general idea of how Japanese xenophobia works. But younger generations, it seems, is a lot more open-minded than that.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm guessing to encounter. I'm planning to mainly interact with the younger generation people, so I think in the end, what I'll experience is overall just people as I meet people here. Like, for example, a good example is when I went to America. Again, like, I only went for 2 weeks. But in a way, I was surprised by how much America was like Germany. Like, there's differences, obviously, and but as a whole, there's people, and
I'll let you in a secret. Pretty much any Western nation with predominant white population is like the same. We all have the same culture now. Pretty much.
And I think,
like, there's differences, but not massive. You're not going to get culture shock from going to America.
Yeah, and I feel like
actually,
I know a decent amount.
Depends what part of America, I guess. If you don't live with like a. Okay, Jared, go. Do you have a tangent?
Canapa and Russ on Twitter said that they had a bigger shock going to the US than they did to Japan.
Really?
Because they said Japan just makes sense, whereas America's a bit crazy in weird ways.
That surprises me a lot. I'm wondering if that's based on expectations and stuff.
It surprises me a lot. I don't know. I think growing up as an American,
I think I know what I would get.
American, you're just basically everything's centered around the fact that you're free and you can do and think whatever you want, and no one can touch you. Which I
think, like, where's Japan?
For better or for worse, that's what like most Americans think.
Yeah,
and like Japan is very focused on the idea of being polite and being not getting in the way of another person.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's something. I'm not sure.
I guess that's something I could relate to.
Sorry.
That's similar to like the classic British.
Yeah.
Non-confrontational passive aggressivism, where if you don't pick fights, but you complain about them to friends afterwards.
Oh yeah, that is probably something that will happen. I feel like I'm not sure how I'll get along with it. Honestly, I'll have no idea how I get along with Japan society until I'm there, and I'm incredibly interested to see how that turns out. Honestly, so yeah. I don't really have much more to say than that.
Do you guys think you might be interested in going and watching Welcome to the NHK after?
I definitely want to go see it.
I really want to watch it.
Absolutely.
I'll eventually rewatch it.
Sounds so unenthusiastic.
The thing is Welcome to the NHK is far from the best anime I've ever watched, but it's one of the most challenging. And sometimes that's what you want, isn't it? It's something. Yeah. You want something that's going to take you out of your comfort zone and ask you difficult questions and make you feel things that you don't want to feel.
That's why people like Clanad, I think.
I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, it's like
these dramas.
We experiment with that idea a lot more in the West.
Shout out to Akunohana.
Yeah,
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but shout out to Ray Zero.
Okay, Re Zero is like the vanilla version of this idea.
Yeah.
What Re Zero does is it challenges the light novel culture. It doesn't challenge
I completely
a wider
disagree
audience.
with that.
Like, I mean,
because it's
let's save that for the Re Zero podcast.
Yeah. Okay. For sure. But no, I like things like Precious and 12 Years a Slave. Like, I feel like in the West we're fascinated with this idea of seeing how deep we can dig, like into our own scars, and seeing like what it will feel like, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Have you actually? By the way, Tom, have you actually watched Akunohana? I'm interested.
I haven't, but I want to put it on my list.
Okay,
the stuff you said about it before
I think it's an incredibly interesting show. I need to rewatch it sometime.
The stuff you've said about it previously has made me interested in it.
It's...
I thought I had a completely different...
Also, like, another thing that kind of, in a way, does that is Inyo Asano manga. I think Inyo Asano... wait, I think, Jared, haven't you read some of them?
I don't think so.
Fuck. Am I really the only one here? Stuff like Oyasumi Punpun or Solanin. Solanin is actually something I think you'd like a lot, Tom. It's about college students. Actually, not college students. It's about people working even, and about like their struggle in terms of like normal working versus my dream.
Oh wow, that's
nice.
cool.
And it's incredible. It's one of my favorite manga.
That's cool.
I highly recommend it. And like Inyo Asano does a lot of that stuff. Like Yasumi Punpun is about like a child who it's basically a story about a child growing up, and it goes in the weirdest directions. Like one of the first few chapters has the child masturbating for the first time.
Cool.
And it's so weird. It's hard to describe Yasumi Punpun, but people should read it.
Has anyone here ever read Homunculus?
No.
It's a manga about this one guy who goes through an experimental procedure where they drill a hole inside of the top of your head through your skull because they believe it, releases psychic powers or something. But then, the premise they push the premise, but then there's a fundamental thing about the main character that happens about quite a few chapters in that I think pretty much will turn off 90% of people from the manga, because it's just it's such an unsightly thing for anyone, let alone the main character, to do in a car by himself. It's
Does he poop on bread and eat it?
No, there's a point in the car. There's a point.
I'm out of guesses.
There's a point in the manga where I don't remember too well. I think he's in a car, after seeing either a girlfriend or a girl he knows, but he starts how not safe for work can I get without pushing the boundaries?
I don't know. The thing is I have no idea where you're going to go with it.
He starts masturbating, but then I was just oh, okay, dude, that's you got blue balls, you're ready to go. But then he starts fucking licking it, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Oh, that's flexible. That's very difficult to do.
Well, no. After he finishes, he starts licking his hand.
Oh, yeah. Right, I see. Oh, wow, that's
right. It's a really well done manga, but it pushes the envelope on a lot of things.
Shout out to Onani Master Kurosawa. I think that's something you'd like, actually, Tom.
Cool.
So
I'm sure I'd like a lot of stuff. Yeah, you are. But yeah, I think in general, if you want to get this really kind of hard-hitting themes, you're either going to have to go to movies or manga. Like, TV anime really do not tend to delve into this
Yeah,
stuff.
sadly.
So it was really, I think that's one of the reasons why I could never give up Western media, is because that is something I want to explore, those dark places, those uncomfortable things, and you know, there will never be a series like True Detective in anime. There never will be. Those are just, I think those are just places that Japanese culture almost isn't willing to go to, and it's I think it's amazing that I can have both, because there are things that you can get from anime that you can't get from TV, but there are so many things you can get from TV that you could never get from anime. And NHK kind of blurred the lines in a way I was not expecting, which is really cool. I think it'll stay with me.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's actually end this podcast before 2 hours.
Oh boy.
Does that sound good? Okay. Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening to this episode. Hopefully we've managed to recover you as well from the war zone of last week.
Hopefully your voice is better now as well.
Yeah, hopefully your ears are better. Your ears have recovered. Yeah, we'll see you soon, I hope. Take care, guys.
All right.
See you.